a look at Tarpley.net. You want to order Surviving the Cataclysm, second edition, indispensable guide through the world economic depression, the breakdown crisis, the disintegration of the entire world economic, banking, and currency systems, which we are living through right now, collapse of Europe, the second wave, all of that at Tarpley.net. You can also keep up with this story. We have posted already New York Times planted story on Afghan mineral wealth designed to prolong U.S. occupation and spur the neocon-backed Petraeus presidential candidacy. That was put up June 17th, I guess, yesterday as we're recording here on the 18th of June. So, lithium in Afghanistan, $1 trillion worth of all kinds of minerals. Lithium valuable because those are laptop batteries, and if you're going to have electric cars, they have to have batteries too. Lithium probably playing a big role in that. Now, nothing new. On the whole, geologists have known about this for decades, in particular, specifically, the Soviet Union, during their own occupation of Afghanistan in the 1980s, did detailed surveys. So now this is being trotted out. For what? It's a puff piece. It's a propaganda piece. Ryzen is hitching his wagon to the Petraeus candidacy, because that's the only person who's quoted in this. Otherwise, the sources are all anonymous. It's Petraeus who says Afghanistan has, quote, stunning potential, unquote. Hey, what is it? What's the point of this? Well, to provide an economic reason to extend the Afghan war into infinity and in eternity, endless war in Afghanistan. And the way you do this, of course, is to say, well, the cost may be big, but hey, Wall Street, hey, minerals companies, hey, all kinds of people, let's go in there and loot it, and we can loot the $1 trillion. And you've also got the possibility of offering contracts to the European NATO partners who are going to stage a revolt at the November NATO summit in Lisbon, Portugal. You're going to have a revolt of the NATO states. What do we have so far? The Dutch are leaving next year. Canada leaving next year. British beginning to waver. New Cameron-Clegg government making noises about leaving soon. We've got Poland demanding an exit strategy. How about Turkey? They've been treated just in an awful way by the U.S. Maybe they're going to get fed up with helping out the U.S. in these places. They'll be gone, too, and that's a very big part of the logistics of the entire thing. So this is the goal. Now, the method in which this is done, you can see all the details. There's a Russia Today commentary from this past week, along with the article. But here's the idea: Petraeus is running for president. This is not a guess. This is what he's doing. In the article I go through, the meeting of the American Enterprise Institute, that is to say, Neocon Central, the American Enterprise Institute, in the first week of May, gave Petraeus its Irving Kristol Award, one of the highest honors that the AEI can bestow. And we had William Kristol there. We had Charles Krauthammer. On other occasions, we've had Max Boot, Frank Gaffney. We've had the Kagan clan, Field Marshal Kagan over there, Donald Kagan, Frederick Kagan, the rest of the Kagans, a whole tribe of neocons, not the ones that have been chewed up like Wolfowitz or Scooter Libby or Feith or Pearl, but I'm sure they're there too, hoping for jobs. Ledeen, probably there. But you get the idea. The neocons have battened on to Petraeus as their ticket back to power, because right now there is a difference between Bush, the younger, and Obama, and that is the presence of these neocons. Neocons are generally out of government now. They've been replaced by the Brzezinski, Trilateral, Bilderberg, soft power people, the Samantha Powers. She's sitting in the National Security Council. Robert Gates, a Brzezinski man, running the Pentagon. And, of course, that the transition began really in 2006. So it's not just Obama. It's an institutional transition. As the neocons had struck out and overdone it, it became necessary to replace them with Brzezinskiites. So that's the idea. Again, the soft power international crisis group people, these methods, right? Appeasement and buck passing, the combination Obama represents. This is to try to give U.S. imperialism a facelift or a breathing space or whatever it is. But now the idea is the neocons want to make the big comeback. And how can you do this? Well, again, look at the Republican field. We've said it before. Palin is an imbecile. Pawlenty is a nonentity. Jindal is a bungler. Haley Barbour and DeMint are crippled by their regional identifications. These are Southern candidates who couldn't really do anything much outside of their region. Huckabee is a clown. Who have we forgotten? The story with Romney is a little bit different. Romney could be a contender. He would be competitive in a general election. But how does he get through a Republican primary dominated by ideological fanatics and indeed right-wing anarchists and neo-feudalists? Not so easy. And the big thing crippling Romney is that he designed the Massachusetts health plan, which is an individual mandate where the individual person, simply by virtue of being there alive and existing, is forced to buy overpriced, shoddy insurance from a private, for-profit, deregulated insurance company with derivatives and golden parachutes and tremendous executive pay and all the rest. And that's what Obama has repeated now, as I said repeatedly, at the federal level. The Obama plan is directly based on the Mitt Romney plan in Massachusetts. So the problem with the Romney is how does he ever get through Republican primaries? Therefore, what we're seeing is the Republicans and the ruling class that control them, they're looking now at Governor Mitch Daniels of Indiana, reactionary Republican, of course, right from the Reagan budget office. And this is the guy who he sold the Indiana Turnpike to this bunch of Spanish predators. So you see what he's made of, right? Globalization and all the rest of it. Now, if we want to see the rationale for Petraeus, look at the essay by Peter Beinart. I do talk about it here. He says, look, think of Dwight Eisenhower, right? At a time when the Republican Party was dominated by scurrilous types like Senator Joe McCarthy and his red-baiting lunatics, you couldn't win the presidency with that. You can hurt people with that, but you can't win. So what you need is somebody who's going to float above that, somebody who's not, in this case, not a politician, right? Great first step, right? At a time when politicians are universally hated, get somebody who's not a politician. He's a general, right? Great tradition. Washington, Jackson, William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor, Grant, Garfield. You can count Colonel Teddy Roosevelt of the Rough Riders. You can count Eisenhower. And the Eisenhower one is the one they like to point to because it fits the Republican Party to some degree now. Republican Party is in a shambles, not able to break a strike wave, not able to break a mass strike. With Petraeus, you could lean on the Army, the secret intelligence agencies. You'd be militarizing society. The idea of putting a general into power right now is a step away from democracy, away from congressional rule, representative government, towards Bonapartism, towards ultimately towards dictatorship. And the example that you want to look at is primarily Paul von Hindenburg, Field Marshal von Hindenburg, German commander World War I, became president of the Weimar Republic 1925 to 1933. He ruled by decree much of the time. Starting in 1930, he ruled by decree continuously. There was no parliamentary majority, so he had a succession of these prime ministers. We've talked about them: Brüning, von Papen, von Schleicher, and then came Hitler. And they all were under the same formula, that as long as that prime minister enjoyed the confidence of Hindenburg, Hindenburg would put through the measures they wanted by signing the emergency decrees. That's the idea with Petraeus, as I've said on various broadcasts in the past. Petraeus is not the new Hitler, but he bids fair to be the one under whom the new Hitler could very well emerge. And the neocons are all around him, and of course they want endless war. They want war with Iran. They want look what he'll be doing. The idea, of course, of the neocons is the old Samuel Huntington idea. You need an enemy image, right? Carl Schmitt, the concept of the political, der Begriff des Politischen, the Feindbild. Where's your enemy image? You got to create one, and you got to make that real. So that's what's behind the leaked story on the Afghan mineral wealth. It basically says, don't let wimpy Obama let the Chinese take it all. Stay the course. Don't cut and run. Fight, fight, fight. And Petraeus makes it possible. Petraeus for president, Petraeus Romney, or Petraeus Mitch Daniels, as the case may be. Bad idea. We'll be back in a minute.